Hey friends, today on Gardening with Creekside, we have taken yet another road trip to visit our sweet friends and customer at Jamie and Maria's house. We are in Winnsboro, South Carolina, which is about, what, 20 miles north of Columbia?
20 miles north, yeah.
Yeah, so they are a zone 8A, very hot. So if you
Very hot.
very hot, lots of sun, but they also have beautiful pockets of shade. And y'all have been fantastic customers of ours for years. Was it 2020?
Probably 2020 when we first discovered you guys.
Discovered us. So they make the trip regularly, an hour and a half away to come see us. And Maria was showing me pictures, of course, this whole time, right? And so their gardens are spectacular. So I cannot wait to take you on a tour, and we're going to do it together. So we're going to have all the behind scenes commentary, going to give you an overview of what they are doing, and just be inspired what they have done, because you both work. You have full-time jobs.
Yes.
You travel periodically.
Yes.
I mean, you are working people.
Yes.
You are busy people.
Yes.
Yes.
And you will see probably weeds and stuff.
No, this is real life,
It's real
right?
life,
This is real life here, and so we're super excited to share this with you. Okay, let me give you an overview just of their front of their house. Look at this, y'all. So this is a historic house. It was built in 1916, and it's so I love this because, of course, their house is a beautiful blue, but driving in, everybody else is white. And so Jamie and Maria, they are just bold. You will see in all of their color, big, beautiful, bold colors, just amazing. Now, okay, so as a little back history here, so you bought your house in 2014?
2014. Yes.
2014, and basically you've redone almost everything.
Inside and out.
Inside and out. You installed a pool in 2020 that's in the back.
Yes.
Oh, it is gorgeous. They have a corner lot.
Yes.
So this is, I think what Jamie said, this was in the original 13 blocks of Winnsboro. So a very historic area of Winnsboro. So you're gonna see cars going by, and just, it's fantastic. I love it. All right, so again, back to the front of the house. Okay, so we have sunshine ligustrums.
Yes.
And you said you moved these?
Moved these from the backyard when we decided to put the pool in. I moved them because we had, and you'll see them in the back, I try to save things.
Yes.
But we had little limes up here, and we had a gutter issue, and they got obliterated with a couple of rainstorms.
Yeah.
And I had to cut them way back.
Yeah.
And so I had moved them to the backyard in a pot to try to help them out. And we were decided to put the pool in, so I moved these guys up here, and they love it.
They are gorgeous.
They need to be trimmed back at the moment, but they're loving it.
No, they are loving it. And then because you've got the big, beautiful hanging baskets.
Yes, and obviously the coleus really, really likes it there.
Yes, so this is what, mostly shade, or does this get sun?
It gets sun. I planted it for the sun.
Okay.
For the fact that, it's in the morning here, and as the day goes on, it gets more and more sun, and it's so hot here.
Okay.
But most of the stuff could do both.
Gotcha. And then I love your planters right here. How fun are those? So do you leave your evergreen in?
I leave my evergreen in. I have to remember to water it in the wintertime.
Sure.
Because we typically turn the irrigation off in the wintertime.
Yeah. Look at that Silver Falls. I mean, dear heavens, this is why we love the Dichondra Silver Falls, because look at that. It is fantastic.
And I change it up every year and just try to do something different in there, leave the evergreen. We have a couple of trees we're gonna have to take down, and some we have taken down. Like this is a traditional azalea.
Right.
And it is suffering a little bit.
Because it's gotten too much sun.
It's getting too much sun.
Right, so there was a tree,
there was a tree right over here, a dogwood we had to take down.
There was a dogwood here that they had to take down.
We had to take down.
And then you're gonna have to take down this one.
And the pecan.
Yeah, and so this one, I mean, it is a massive, oak?
Yes.
Is that an oak? But you can clearly see, like it is in distress and not good. Yeah. But the good thing for y'all is that DOT will take that down.
DOT is taking that down.
DOT is taking that one down
yes.
because on the right of way, and then over here with the pecan or the pecan, however you want to
say it. Yes.
Yes, it is
It's got something boring in it. We tried to save it, and the gentleman was like, there's no saving it. It's gone. So it will come down probably next month.
Yeah.
And then we'll decide what to do. It provided quite a bit of shade. So there's some shade
losing
plants over
those 3 trees is going to really change this like area, because you have those traditional azaleas, and so they are more shade loving. So that just means you get to buy more plants.
That's right. We're coming back to Creekside.
All right, so
but
let's
these
just
are encores, and I can tell you, you can see them blooming over there. Ours do bloom 3 times a year.
That's awesome.
They are on irrigation. That's the only way I've been able to keep them blooming.
Yes, and then what's your fertilizer like? I mean, like what's your schedule on your fertilizer?
I am notoriously good at fertilizing late winter, early spring,
There you go.
and then not getting another one in.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do that. I do use most of the time. It's probably between plant tone, rose tone, and a holly tone,
Gotcha.
just depending on the plant. Sometimes plant tone. This has become more filled out. It's just easier to plant tone everything.
Oh yeah, it is. And then your Mini Vista Whites.
Mini Vista Whites,
Oh,
which
my goodness.
I discovered these last year in this spot, and they just love it. You can see I added one, and he's a little smaller.
It's okay. He'll catch up.
catch
and then
up.
this is a penstemon.
Penstemon, and I haven't deadheaded them, but I like the height.
Yeah.
And of course, the cone flowers, and then
So which hydrangeas are these?
those are my incredibles that I moved from the back that were suffering in the back.
Okay, gotcha.
And I moved them up here, and they seem to like it better here. The rain has done some interesting things. We got, I guess it was about 7 days of constant rain.
Yes.
Of 6,
Yes.
5, 6 inches of rain.
Yeah.
And everything's been a little reactive to that.
Yeah.
So it's these particular, they were a little more white, and they turn a little more limey colors.
Now, are you going to try, because I just started this week deadheading some of mine.
Yeah.
Are you going to try that?
Yeah.
Because hopefully you'll get another flush.
Hopefully I'll get another flush, and I think they're just, here everything is early, was
Yes.
very early here. It was
Yes.
warm enough. Everything appreciated the cool nights.
Yeah.
But now it's just hot and sticky.
Yes.
Yeah. It's hot
And I
and
will
sticky.
say this about Maria. Maria is not afraid to move a plant. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Like, sister, you remind me very much of my mama in that aspect. It's just like once you get it in your brain that it's going to be moved,
moving.
It's moving. And so she takes care of it. She'll move it to different places or whatever.
We had umbrellas up recently because I planted a pufferfish.
Yeah.
And my pufferfish shocked.
Yeah.
And it just came
Yes.
straight from Creekside. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with it, but
No.
it shocked going in. I put
Yes.
an umbrella over it and watched it, and we'll see it back there.
Yeah. I
It's
love
fine
it.
now.
I love
It's just
it.
a little behind the pufferfish that was here that I planted last year.
Yes, and it'll catch up. Now,
Yeah.
I want to go back over here for 1 second
Sure.
because we didn't do this side. Because again, I love this. We always talk about that the beds, right? They are balanced and they're repeating, and they have those same repeating themes. They're the sisters or the
not-
cousins, but not identical twins, right?
identical
So
twins.
it's very balanced where you have, of course, your ligustrums and your planters and all that. But then over here, let's talk about this hydrangea for a second, because oh my word, limelight.
Limelight.
And then now, okay, so this is probably how old?
It was probably planted in 2015.
Yeah. And see, you have done what I did,
I started this year, yeah.
and I love that because by doing that, then you've got plenty of room under here, like to underplant.
And that's a sun hosta.
Oh,
That's a sun
that's
hosta.
happy.
It's very happy here. My boom chocolate looks a little rough, but it's just went in. Some of this stuff we
No, right.
plant year round. There's my infamous bubble gum that keeps coming back.
So there's hope on the boom chocolate because I too last year planted mine
In the
it was
heat.
this time of year when I planted mine, and I was like, just stay alive. And then this year it has been spectacular. It has been gorgeous.
I cut this hydrangea back every year, and it does
Every
this
year.
every year.
It is stunning. And then I love that y'all left like the mature camellias.
Yes, and,
You know?
and our camellias are a little tall right now because the birds are nesting in them.
Well, you know what?
And we normally keep them a little more shaped, and we just leave it. And but the past couple of years, they beat us to trimming them. So,
No.
but they're very tall camellias. They were here when we bought the house. We did not remove them. They were here.
I mean,
We
they are
removed
happy.
mainly what was dying or end of its life cycle,
Sure.
or we had some Nandinas in here that were taking over.
Love
We
it.
have really bad morning glory here. We have really bad
Yes.
wiregrass that gets in.
And then these hydrangeas, tufts?
I
Or
think
mountain? Are they tough stuff?
I think they're tough stuff. There's one over there on the other side as well, but I think these are tough stuff as well. They bloomed. I was surprised after the late frost.
Yeah.
They bloomed. You can see the encores are stretching a little bit.
But they're flowering.
but
in
they're
July.
flowering, so
I
I'm
mean,
like,
who
they're happy.
cares? Yes,
They're
and then
happy.
You just have little nooks and crannies like everywhere. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, I love
And
this.
we literally, this side, as you're aware, Jenny, we ripped out a bunch of stuff over here. It was getting overgrown. The morning glory was taking over.
Yeah.
And so we literally, it was last weekend, planted most of this bed.
and it is beautiful.
Some of the hostas are.
And seeing you two are like us as far as like in front of our AC units.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want a landscape, but inevitably somebody's going to have to come and do
They
work.
service them twice a year.
Yeah, and so you're not going to then go and put like massive
Right.
shrubs there. Like, you're not going to plant hydrangeas all in front of
no,
it, right?
and I placed the pot just to kind of, it looked like an empty spot, but we happen to know the company that cleans this uses an alkaline-based coil
Oh,
cleaner.
uh-huh.
So I wanted to make sure that whatever was over there
Right.
wasn't going to suffer from that. Of course, with the high acidic soil you have in this part of the world,
Yes.
a
And
little
now-
alkaline ain't going to hurt anything.
No. And now this is
This
the
is
area.
Jamie's bed.
This is Jamie's bed, and this is, what kind of tree is this?
That's another pecan.
Oh my, but see, this is a beautiful, healthy.
Yes, this is a healthy version.
This is a beautiful, healthy, she's not going anywhere. I mean.
We had all of them checked. when-
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So Jamie, her husband, just developed this year?
Yes, we just finished it out, planted everything.
Yeah.
And it's got a few things we had, a lot of stuff from Creekside. There's our sublimes in the back, and this one's suffering a little bit. Not suffering bad, but
It's just shock.
it's got a little shock from going in. And I try to remember, don't let their shock
Right.
make you overreact.
Exactly. That. Oh. Can you say that again, please? Because that was really good.
Don't let their shock make you overreact
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
It's getting morning sun. That one over there probably gets this also gets afternoon, so we've had to modify a few things. But everything seems to be happy right now.
And the thing is
And
that
it's on irrigation. We put
it-
everything on irrigation.
right. And so that's the thing too, is like that I have to tell myself is that like we planted our puffer fish up by the chicken coop, and they did. I mean, they were like freaking out, but they
Yeah.
were in full bloom. I mean, it was end of June, 1st of July,
Yeah.
and they're like, what in the world? But once you get them established, and like we tell people, like, right, that first year, like, keep them alive.
Keep them alive.
Keep them alive, and then they just explode those coming years. And so, yeah, I love that.
And we keep a couple of umbrellas
Yeah, smart.
ready to go that aren't used at the pool.
Yes.
To cover things, to kind of provide some shade. That's what we have done over here. I think the other thing to remember is it looks like it needs water, but be careful. You
Right.
can root rot, especially in the south with the heavy clay soil. You don't want to
perfect.
overwater.
Right. So let's talk about what we got in here. Okay, so we've got some of like the pink diamonds. You've got
Yes.
that repeated. The bleeding heart, which is actually more of a little bit of a sun lover in there.
I've got it in full sun in the back and it's loving it.
Great. And you've got eucharis, and then I love just hostas. If you like the hosta, pick it up. Like it
Pick it
doesn't, just get it. And then
We got some Sun Kings. We've
Sun
got-
Kings back there, and the Brunneras. And
I
then
did not move the Brunner yet,
Okay.
just because originally the bed went on the other side of the tree and we couldn't get grass to grow here.
Yes.
So we just extended around.
Swept it in front. And
Yes,
Yep.
because grass wasn't growing anyways. We used to have gigantic loropetalum in here that was it looked really bad, and we took it out. Now there's a camellia,
Yep.
the sublime. That is a stained glass hosta. I'll remember some of it, some
Yes,
of it
no,
I
you're
won't.
good. You're good. You're good.
We've got,
Is this the lady in red fern?
it's the lady in red. No, the lady in red fern's here. That's a ghost fern that I found.
okay. Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
the lady in red.
Lady in red
over
is,
there.
yep, over there.
These are bobos.
So sweet.
Um,
Love it.
Those these are the Georgia peach that we picked up from you guys.
Yeah.
And we've got some of them, their tags got left and some didn't.
Yeah.
I have, as you can tell, I like bold colors. I had to learn to love the colors from foliage and doing it differently in shade.
Yes, and climbing hydrangea.
Yes, and it looks rough because I've had that and it just put it in, but I'm just leaving it alone.
No, but it may look rough in some spots, but look at all that new growth popping out. You know, like
I try
look
not
at that.
to,
No, it's good.
worry too much about if they look rough. It was sitting in the backyard and waiting to plant right here to climb this tree.
See, and you've got new growth right here.
Yeah.
All that, so it is good.
So I like to wait. Everything took a little bit of a hit with it probably got down to between 10 and 15 here. It got kind of cold. And so I've tried to just give it some time.
Yes.
Give it some time and don't overreact and trim everything too harshly. Some stuff that I knew I could trim back. I did.
Yeah.
But these tea olives got trimmed back and they flushed back out pretty well because we cut on them pretty hard.
So were these here when you moved in?
No, we actually planted. This is one of the first areas we did.
Okay.
Was we cleaned this area out. It was overgrown. And we put these in with the laurel pedlums and some barberries. The barberries did not survive, I think, because the laurel pedlums choked them out. But it made everything kind of off-centered a little bit, so.
And so you've trimmed them. They are flushing out with beautiful new growth. So
I trimmed them hard. They were probably 12 feet tall.
Wow.
And I was like, they can't stay like that.
No.
They're too big.
No.
They didn't look full anymore.
So then you've got them going all the way down. Rose.
All the way down. It's a rose, and I trimmed that hard as well. It was had really bad morning glory in it, and it'll flush back out just fine.
Did you plant this one?
No, this is one of the ones this was the only thing we left on this line.
So pretty.
And we're watching this stuff. It's a little more sun than I think because right where the bench is where that dogwood was. It was a huge dogwood. It probably just, when we cut it down, it didn't look diseased inside. I think it was just end of its life.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
more sun hostas.
Yeah,
and
life cycle.
So, it's early morning sun.
And see, and too, I love this that, I mean, obviously this is your property line. You've got a fence, you've got flower beds, you've got your neighbor's house, beautiful, oh my gosh, gorgeous house next door, right?
Yes.
But I mean, you can see them and you've got privacy, but it's not, you've done it in such a way that it's not like just a line of like evergreen trees.
Right.
Right. And you can still talk over the fence to your neighbor. I love that.
And we had a tendency when we first started to be a little, I guess I wasn't really into a style yet or into my own.
Yeah.
And so everything looked a little repetitive.
Okay.
On the fence line, it looked repetitive. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with mixing this up. Plus we were noticing, you can tell the difference even in the tea olives. When you get under the tree, they aren't as big.
Yes.
They didn't get trimmed that low. These are the ones that had to be cut back, really cut back. They were just trimmed up.
And then I love too, I mean, it's very subtle, but it's beautiful, the edging that you, the stone edging all the way around.
And we do that for two reasons. One, it keeps the mulch in.
Yes. Yeah.
And two, it does help with edging and trying to keep the grass out.
Yeah. Because what kind of grass do you have?
This is St. Augustine to a point, and then we have not sodded the front yet. This was all sodded. Jamie and I did it. But it is a vining grass, so you have to be careful. And then this is the ever wire grass, Bermuda, whatever you want to call it, that gets in everything, and we are constantly pulling it out. But it is quite the...
Yeah, that's the challenge because you're probably too hot to do, because we have fescue. You're too hot for that.
We have tried it, and it just languishes in the heat.
Yeah.
So we have tried to. This is Jamie could tell you more, but it's a hybrid St. Augustine that really likes the sun. It struggles a little bit in the shade here.
Gotcha.
Probably because it's hot and shady.
Right.
It's not cool and shady.
Right. So then on this little corner and this is literally the corner of both the house and the corner of the lot, you have got Chinese viburnum, you said?
Yes.
And So Maria is so good. So she gave me tons of pictures. So we're going to try to plug in pictures. But this snowball bush, you said when it was in bloom, was just...
It was gorgeous when it was in bloom, and it's something I could not cover. I tried, and I was like, well, if I lose my blooms, I lose my blooms. And it bloomed, and it actually surprised me. And I'm trying to trim it up a little bit because it's, had I realized it was going to get that big,
right,
maybe I wouldn't have put it right next to the sidewalk. But everybody in town loves it. They come by when it's in full bloom and take pictures of it. And
I am sure.
So I'm limbing it up just to make sure people can walk under it.
Right.
And I've found that I kind of like that look.
It is a very fun look.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's even still got a couple of little sporadic blooms on it.
Yeah, sporadic blooms. And this is a very hard area. I have probably ripped more plants out of this area. The water's tough. The butterfly bushes seem to like it.
So just giving people a perspective here on, right? So then we have the sidewalk. I mean, it's really literally the corner right here.
Literally the corner. Yes.
And then you've got the Miss Molly's.
Yes.
Miss Molly's and some Shasta daisies, and
they need to be deadheaded. Yes.
That's all right. And then oh my gosh, the Mini Vista. So more of the Mini Vista white.
Right. And then the scarlet.
And then your scarlet, which again, tying in, got that white, the red, even though it is a red NC State flag, whatever. I mean, it ties in. And those scarlets are beautiful. I mean, they're
loving it right here.
They are loving it. And that's, of course, that new Mini Vista. And I love how they're just mingling together right here. Yeah.
And the thought was just to do something a little different. I tend not to put anything red towards the pool. Just because it tends to make you feel hotter.
Yeah.
Really hot colors.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to try some red up here. And
I love it.
This is kind of my whatever goes bed. I also added, kind of late in the season, added some salvia on the other side just to kind of put some more height.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Because I kind of just place in here. And for us, Blue Suede Shoes playing the blues, which I got them
sorry,
both. That's why
sorry.
I'm like,
No, I have to go through.
I have to think.
This is Playing the Blues.
Playing the Blues. It'll come back
right?
for us. I believe that's right.
I always get them backwards.
I get them backwards too. We have both, so we'll be able to see the other ones as well. But they'll come back for us.
Yeah.
So I had two, so I planted them up here.
Beautiful.
To see how they do. The azalea right next to it's probably going to have to come out.
Right.
Due
Well,
to the
because of this, removing those trees in the sun, and so these are those traditional shade-loving azaleas that bloom once a year. But then your gardenia,
gardenia loves it.
The gardenia is going to be like, yes, sun.
The gardenia.
Now, was this here?
No, we planted this gardenia. I do not remember. It's a box store gardenia.
Sure.
But it is fragrant and does love its life right here.
Yeah. And so with that other trees being gone, they will really love it. And so, I mean, but just to give an idea of this is a narrow bed because obviously you're working between, you've got a tree right here. I mean, yes, it's going to go. But
it's going to go, but when we put the bed in, it was perfectly healthy.
And then this cherry tree, do you know what kind it is?
No, it was here.
Okay. Blooms,
but it, I like the structure of it.
Yes.
So it's the main thing we try to do is just keep where you don't hit your head on it walking down the sidewalk, and it's just, and I'm assuming because of the tree that's going to go, it has always grown towards the street.
Yeah, because of the sun.
Because of the sun.
Yeah.
Just like the other trees that are along this line that were here.
Yep.
That are along the road.
And this is another pecan.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
That one's going to be trimmed up because it's on the house, but he said he'd do some trimming on that one for us.
Sure.
That was, part of Winsboro has, I guess had a pecan grove. There's quite a few of them.
Sure.
So I think that was way back in the day.
Yeah.
Was why there's so many in town.
Well,
that and magnolias.
Do they produce?
These were topped a few years ago, before we bought the house, and they'll produce every so often.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they were topped because they had just gotten so big.
Sure. Now, as we come down, because of the house and then the various trees, so we go from, full sun, especially in the morning here.
Yes.
We've got sweet little kitty on the porch.
That's Roxy.
Roxy's following us.
Yes.
And then we go into what you lovingly, affectionately, we go into the shade. But you said this was, tell the story. I think it's hilarious.
This is our, evidently our age of variegation here. Everything's variegated. And it was another first place we did some work. And didn't quite maybe think about putting something maybe solid in this area. Even when I added the feather falls, I have had many things around this fountain, and one of them being lemon coral sedum, which I loved here. But here with the morning glory and everything, it was so hard to weed through. So I pulled it and I put the feather falls, and I've added a few to the back. I was trying to let them get as big as they wanted to get and see how big they got. So I've added a few this year, and but all the variegation. This was our variegated stage.
So this is a euonymus.
It's a euonymus, yes.
And so there's two of those.
There's two of those.
Which they're beautiful. Like
you hate to do anything about it, but
they're pretty.
We'll probably figure out a way. This will be a test. And then now that you've seen it, Jenny, you'll have to help me.
Yes, and we think this is what we said, sugar tip.
I think it's sugar tip.
Yeah. So, but again, it is a beautiful, it's a beautiful plant with those leaves, and then of course that really nice, soft pale pink with that deeper center and very upright. But yeah, I mean they're gorgeous plants. And they maybe not together.
Not together, right? But it's it's one of those you plant it and then you learn.
No, right. Yeah, no.
And if I could move them, I'd move them somewhere else. But I'm not sure they'd survive a move.
I don't think they'd survive.
Yeah. So we're just debating on what to move, when to what to remove. Most likely is what's going to happen.
Sure.
And
then we've changed, right? We've learned from the variegated stage, and we're moving down towards with these Florida Sunshines.
Yes.
Against your blue house.
Yes.
Dear heavens, that is spectacular. And then these eucharas definitely are loving life.
Yes.
But again, right, and then you've got, I love this. So you've got a mix of ferns. You've got your autumn ferns. Are those ostrich ferns?
They're ostrich ferns.
Ostrich ferns. You've got a mahonia right here. A little pot of coleus, popping it up out of the ground on a stand.
Yeah, just to give it a little color, because it can be very dark over here.
Yeah. And then hosta.
That is an Empress Woo.
Oh, and how old would you say this Empress Woo is?
This Empress Woo is probably 2 years old.
Wow.
Maybe 3.
Wow.
This originally was planted, I removed, the corbels were here. I've planted other things. You can see that, I didn't believe the Empress Woo would get this big, so there's some small houses that will be moved. I just won't move them in the heat. They don't seem to like to be moved in the heat.
No, they don't.
But I have mixed in a couple of things. I feel like in shade you can be a little more
absolutely. And
different.
This is a crested surf?
That's a crested surf, yeah.
Look at that. Love it.
So typically I like to, I'll probably try to move the hostas
late fall,
let them
throughout winter
and move them. They're just, and I've got to see what with the new beds where we've got some spots.
Yes. Okay. So, not trying to make you dizzy here. We're gonna flip it around. Okay. So, speaking of new beds, so still, and this kind of reminds me of, in a way, of what my forest pansy bed, in that you go from deep shade. And then as we transition, and on the other side of this camellia is going to be full hot afternoon sun.
Yeah.
So this was planted this year?
Yes, just
yesterday.
Not quite that quick, but just a week and a half ago.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. Again, taking this in with those, just imagine those Florida Sunshines, because they'll be in that 4-ish foot range. So up to here against that dark, and again, tying in to right over there, right? Yes. So it all ties in. And then you've got the lemon blush caladiums. You got these, what, was it 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and they have I say they've doubled in size. I mean, they are happy with some astilbes, ghost fern.
Yes.
Then
I had one left, so I was like, well, this is
No.
a perfect place for it.
And then your eucharis, is that
That's the
frosted?
Yes.
Frosted berry?
Frosted
Oh my
berry.
gosh. Like, y'all, look at that. Look at those
And I
leaves.
was, you know, we've had mixed success. You'll be able to see when we move down in the sun, probably getting too much sun and they're not getting very big.
Yeah.
I'll try anything and just see.
Yes.
I've learned, like, full sun here is not really what they mean on a tag sometimes.
Sure. And then
And,
this
yes.
mature camellia. that
This
you
one
keep-
blooms white.
Ooh.
So it is, and these things are huge.
I know, but you,
Huge.
I mean,
But
I
we
know,
love them, and
but
we
you
just
can't. I mean, oh my gosh! And then so underneath, okay, so you've got some impatience, more of the feather falls. The feather falls again, so feather falls here,
And some
and then it
vita.
ties in to back right over here, and then now we're transitioning
to the
the-
dreaded sun.
to the hot, hot,
Yes.
and it's afternoon sun
It's
too.
afternoon sun.
Yeah.
So Jamie fell in love with these candy corns,
Yep.
and so they're doing well here. And I've trimmed them back once
Gotcha.
after they bloomed, and they have flushed out again. Those are fairy trail brides, which mine came out with a pink tint to them this year.
Really?
Yes, they've got a little pink tint
They do.
to the blooms.
Look at that. Now, did yours get hit in the freeze?
Yes, so they bloomed sporadically, I
Yes.
would say.
Yeah, mine almost died to the ground.
Yeah.
So I've had to start
I've got a
from
couple
scratch.
that are looking rough. I just kind of left them.
Yeah.
And then we've got more encores.
Yep.
And then, so 2 encores, and then I can never remember the name of that. That's the one that doesn't spread.
This is the is it the French vanilla? Shoot, I'll put it up.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Scentlandia, but it's not Scentlandia.
I think Scentlandia is whatever that spreads so
Yes.
that we're struggling with.
Yes, this is the summertime. It'll come to me. I'm
Yes.
having a brain moment right here. But vanilla spice.
Vanilla spice.
There
That's
we go,
it.
vanilla spice. I knew it would come. But oh my gosh, like it smells divine. It's just now starting to bloom. Pollinators will go nuts over this thing. And I love that you got 3 of them right here in a corner. Beautiful. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna transition to the back
To the backyard.
because just wait, my friends, it's gorgeous. All right, so here we are in the back, and y'all are in for a treat. I need to go up here. Let me hold on just one second. I'm gonna go up on the balcony, and I'm gonna show you from a bird's eye view. All right, here we go. Sorry, I had to just run up here from the deck and to show you because we're gonna go through all the flower beds, but here we go. This is the shade where Jamie has been developing, right? So we're on the front side of the house where we were, the fence, and then here we go, going into full sun. Now, notice that because we have a swimming pool, you have to put in a fence because by law you have to have it enclosed. So instead of breaking it up and putting a fence just around the pool, they enclosed a large portion of their backyard. So when you're coming up, from the back deck and you're standing here, the pool is very open. The landscape is very open. It is not chopped off at all, and it is just gorgeous. They are big fans of aquapots. So here is one, that antique lily leaf you've got super bells and some
Mini Vista Hot Pink.
Mini Vista Hot Pink and the Angelona, and then the Diamond Snow in there.
Yes.
With
Cannot compete.
No, it's okay. But with the roses right behind, I mean, just gorgeous. Okay, now let's go through because, oh my. Okay. So we're gonna start on this corner. There's too much, y'all. I'm so distracted. I don't even know where to focus here. This was the spot that a couple of weeks ago, I mean, maybe more than a month,
Maybe
probably about a
a
month
month
ago.
ago,
They were at the nursery and Maria showed me a picture and I was like, oh, that was last year. She goes, no, that's this year. I took it this morning. I love this color combination, and I'm hoping that the sun, the sun is what the sun is. I can only do so much, but so let's just go through. So down at the far end, there's a distilium. You've got the sunshine ligustrums coming across the back. Then in the front, these are tidbits, row of tidbits, and then this, oh my. So these are the Sunjoy Neos.
Yes.
Sunjoy Neos with the Mini Vista Whites, the distilium again behind.
that are obviously loving life here.
They
too.
are loving life with Limelight Standard. But it's heavy.
It's heavy. This kind of happened after the heavy rain, and so after I probably will do a trim, see what we got, how much it'll bounce back up. These are massive.
But these are massive
They're
blooms.
massive.
I mean, they are. And
the new growth. This all new growth up here.
Right. So you've got all this new growth, and they're standing up straight. But then, like on this, you've got, like on this limb, you've got three blooms, right?
Yeah.
So the perfect thing to do though is to come in and trim. Use them in bouquets, you know.
Yes.
Here, obviously, were some of the first blooms because they're older. But on that one branch, oh my gosh, there's like a gazillion flowers. So just that pruning over time will give you that really uprightness. And I'm sorry, but it's still gorgeous.
It's still gorgeous.
If anybody says otherwise, they're just
and it really loves it there. Because this thing bakes all day long. It'll be in this sun all day.
So this is interesting because you're an 8A, but I even dare say like this is a microclimate, because I mean it is what, I don't know what time it is in the morning, but it's hot.
It is hot back here.
Like we're sweating.
This is.
And so people who say, you know, do you have hydrangeas for hotter climates?
There you
Go with it. I mean, but it is on irrigation.
It is on irrigation. It runs, I just upped it because it has been stifling hot here.
Yes.
I just upped it to running 25 minutes every day.
Okay.
I want to get where I run less often, but it is so hot. I just see, if I ran it every other day, I'm seeing
some damage.
See some damage. So right now we're up to 25 minutes. I try not to run it. I have run my irrigation primarily to each plant versus everywhere to try to keep weeds down more than anything.
Sure.
Anything you can do to keep the weeds down.
Absolutely. So,
and then we finish out. I feel this is a little soldiery sometimes, that we're a little, but it's it's to soften. The point of this bed was to soften the massive driveway.
Yes. So, okay, let's just give a perspective here of this whole back area. Okay, so I'm going to show you this, oh my gosh, beautiful house with a relatively new deck that y'all built. A couple,
It was finished this winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So got the lights underneath it, nice shady area. If you want to sit underneath there, you can. So beautiful, gorgeous house. And then I love this story of this structure right here. It's currently, you use it as an apartment.
And a garage.
And a garage, okay. But originally, this is an original building structure with the house. It was the horse barn.
It was the horse barn.
It was the horse barn. How fun is that?
And I think in the 50s, they converted it to a garage and an apartment.
I love it. Okay, so the whole point of that is, to me, this is not at all soldiery. This is like uniform, and it just ties in, and like you said, it softens this corner.
And that was the whole purpose, was to soften it.
Okay, before we get too far in the garden, let's hit these trees right here, these pots.
I have to thank Jerry for saving these trees and me not ripping them out. When we got them, and there's a little brown on this one, but they take the heat.
No,
and I literally was not going to underplant them this year and just put this, the underplanting in. So it will fill up. They're on irrigation as well. I try to irrigate everything because consistent water, I've learned from Jerry, is the key to your arborvitae.
So this is emerald greens? Or North Poles?
They're emerald greens.
Emerald greens.
And they had really bad brown spots. And Jerry told me, he said, don't pull them, Maria, not yet. He said, give them some hollytone and just see what happens. Give it to them late winter, early spring, and see what happens. And they flushed out. So
and the reason that you...
It's all Jerry.
It's all Jerry.
It's all Jerry.
So the reason that you did this is because you wanted to have a bit of a break, a little privacy from the road that's literally like right there.
Right there.
But obviously for
and to break up the fence, to put something over here.
Yes, because you're not going to plant on the other side of the fence because you have what? Maybe 18 inches,
18 inches, 2 feet
right?
at the most.
And so putting them in pots, you know, it's the same pot repeated throughout, the same plant, the same plantings. Oh my gosh, it's very elegant.
And the purpose was to come up with something to soften the fence line, give you a little bit of privacy, and have something to look at when you looked this way, other than just the crepe myrtles.
Yeah, no, I love it. It is beautiful. All right, now, Oh, wow. Where shall we start? Okay, let's go.
We have a neat story over here we
Okay,
can
let's
tell you
go.
about. Jamie just actually finished this last night because,
Somebody's showing off.
yes, Roxy here. But this is the actual step.
Okay.
Winsboro is known for blue granite.
Ooh, okay.
And that is a piece of Winsboro granite that were property markers on our property, and we laid it down as a step, and then put just a few pavers in order to make it where you could. It was kind of a hill before,
Sure.
so that's what it was, and they were used as like fence markers. Well, there's a few still left on the property, but so we grabbed one and decided to use it as a step,
What a fantastic idea.
just to have something from Winsboro, from the
No.
original property.
Absolutely.
There's a few down the line on the back that are still there. And so we're trying to find unique ways to use them as you put up different style fencing.
I love it.
So we've done this. I will tell you, as everyone will see, I am not the best at growing a rose, but that one likes me. And these two, and they are the Oh So Easy.
Okay.
But the Oh So Easy yellow did okay. But here, was it Italian?
Italian ice.
Did not like it here.
Yeah.
So those are drift roses. They just went in. They're not liking the heat too much. But and I may have to move my Gatsby gal eventually. It's probably based on your mama's.
This is a Gatsby gal?
Yeah, and I put it here. We'll see if it likes that much. We can, like I said, I'm not scared to move a plant.
No, you're not.
And those are some Weigelia
I was going to say.
that are blooming
Look
right
at
now.
that. So this one, I see a tag.
Oh yes.
Let's see which one it is. Snippet dark pink. Look at that. That is gorgeous.
For anyone who would understand the reference, I'm very bad about being a mini pearl when it comes to my plants, leaving the tags on. I'm looking for unique ways to mark them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I leave the tag on because I'll forget.
Oh no, I'm the same way. And so then your hibiscus,
That's
lots of beautiful hibiscus.
Chocolata?
Boom chocolata.
Boom, yeah, that's
Boom
what
chocolata.
this one is, or chocolate, or whatever the hibiscus
Not boom.
name.
Yeah, boom chocolata is the geranium.
geranium. Something, is it?
Shoot, we'll figure it out in a minute too. But
I got lots of them. I like them.
Yes,
and I like
so
them
then
near
we
the pool.
repeat them. Yes,
Yeah.
throughout the pool. Yeah,
Throughout
boom
the pool
chocolata.
area.
Sorry, but look at this. Look at that.
These have probably been here 2 years. It's one plant. I mean, we
Yeah,
all know
it's
how
one-
massive
yes,
they get.
they get huge.
And we do have dogs.
Yes,
you met Finley and
Yes,
Elwood.
you got 3 of them.
Yeah, and there are Elwood is 65 pounds, and he's a bull in a china shop. So every once in a while, he'll take out a limb of something, and then Finley thinks he's a gazelle and jumps over everything. So he's
funny.
taken out a tidbit or two.
So, okay, and then so this patio right here, you were telling me that it was originally like a decorative gravel.
It was originally decorative gravel, and Finley, who loves to run, kept kicking the gravel into the pool. So that
Yep.
ended that. And Jamie, last summer, converted this over to paver.
Which again, I love. Like just the simple edge of the pavers. The pavers are great. You got your fire pit right there.
And that was, its original purpose is the same thing. It was
Sure.
just done to be the another form that Finley couldn't kick into the pool and tear up the pool. So we do have the beautyberry.
Yep. Program.
And then these are the sweet talker viburnums.
Oh.
That's them. The Laura Pedlum that we got from you, the variegated Jamie, not Laura Pedlum, Loriope.
Yes.
And Jamie loves this. It is frying a little bit in the sun. We'll see how it goes. It's ironically those two. The
Yep.
rest seem fine.
Yes.
And then my world's largest salvia here,
Look at that, and that's one plant.
overtaking
the
my
gardenia.
gardenia. But I'll trim it back. But the bees love it.
The bees do love it.
The bees and the hummingbirds.
Look at that. And then you've got your pineapples
My
here.
pineapples.
Pineapples.
My pineapples that I was like, Jenny, save me 2 pineapples.
Yes.
This is, I think, a spinderella.
Yes.
And there's 2 of them, and you can see there's some Elwood damage right there. He likes to go in there, so I'm gonna have to cut out a
just
piece.
broke out a
He
limb.
broke out a limb.
But I love how like lush this is all together with the hibiscus and the sunshine ligustrums. You got Amsonia down here, and then that beautiful collection of your cobalt blue pots.
Yes.
Just
I'm a big
gorgeous.
fan of blue.
Really?
Like, couldn't tell at all.
Not at all. And then more hibiscus, more hydrangeas.
And these are little limes. These were from the front yard.
Okay.
And they have recovered well. But I put them over here, and then there's 2 in pots behind you that don't look quite as well. You know, they're still coming up.
Sure.
But I've got to just find a place to put them.
And then the guara. I can't imagine like when that's in full bloom.
I know. And it just flushed out again. We had our initial big flush, and then we had a second flush. You still see a few.
Yeah.
And
so pretty. And then back here, so it's interesting. So their property is like an L-shaped. So it comes straight down, and then this is their property, even though it's the fence. And then the L part, right,
goes back.
Goes all the way back, which Marie is going to develop more gardens back there.
Because I need more to do.
She needs more to do. All right, let's move over on this side real quick because we haven't gone over here. Oh. But even though there's different hydrangeas, right, so you still have that creamy white panicle, you've got the pinks, like the colors are all very repetitive, and it all ties in together with your blue pots, just and more beauty berries.
More beauty berries, and we just added those mainly just because we felt like these are firelights, and they're they're growing more naturally this way, a little more vase-like.
Yeah.
So we were like, hey, we got a little space.
Yeah.
And I'm trying phlox again. Me and phlox and the powdery mildew don't always get along.
It struggles. So yeah, this is what, the opening act, I believe.
Yes.
And then these echinaceas. Dear heavens, what are these things?
They
These
are called a sweet.
You got a tag right here.
Yes. Sweet fuchsia.
Sun seekers. But look at that bloom, y'all. The petals on that thing are just gorgeous. I love those. Oh my goodness.
I had originally bought the 3 coleus to go here, and 3 was too much. I know how big they can get. So I placed 2 right together.
Yes.
To fill in that space, because these are some of the, if I don't know what I want to do exactly, use an annual. Give yourself some time.
Yes, yes. They're great filler plants.
And there's still holes, and it'll be fine.
But no, yeah, if that's where you go and you have fun and you find a plant and you're like, oh, you're going there.
This is where I put my lavender and my oregano.
Yep.
I just recently moved this pot back. This was an irrigation issue. We have, all of our irrigation runs off of our hose spigots.
Yes.
So it was struggling to get all the way down. So right about here, it would start to struggle anything in a pot.
Gotcha.
So I was like, we'll just snip the line, deaded the line from the house, picked up the one right behind the pool here, put another timer on it, and run this one.
Okay, so people ask all the time about this. So can we, because this is a very practical, real life.
And it's easy to see where this one's at.
Yes, it is. And then you're also big fans of Hoselink.
Yes, you see them everywhere here.
This is at least number 3.
There's one everywhere.
So we just did this at the chicken coop, and we literally did this same thing where we had the frost-proof hose, right? This hydrant, whatever, the 4-way splitter, and the hose link right beside of it. Okay, so what we have, just walk me through it here, is hose link here.
Hose link here. This is the new timer, and these are the Beehive version, which you can control by your phone. They do Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
So this is from Orbit?
From Orbit. They're both, but that's the newer one. It looks a little better.
Okay.
I also take them out in the winter time, so that's why they're like labeled where they go, so you remember where they're, because the timer stays.
Yes.
And then, so this is what I added that now runs all of this on this side up to about our plum.
Yep.
And then this runs this way. Because if you get too much on a line, it struggles towards the end of the line.
You don't get the pressure. Right. So then you just, from that, then you just use your couplers, like your different
Yes, and I
fittings.
did not purposely, this is got the pressure regulator on it. I'm gonna add one here, but because we were having pressure issues, I wanted to run it with before.
Yes.
But it's a backflow and filter.
Gotcha.
Pressure regulator, and then connect in, and obviously leaking somewhere. I have to get Jamie to come tighten it down. I'm only so strong.
Yeah, and then it just...
And then I ended up just teeing them over because of the dogs and keeping them from running into everything.
And then just zip tie it so that way it's not loose and they don't rip it apart.
And I literally did this in the rain 2 nights ago because I noticed the problem.
So this is so practical though. Like people love to be able to see this. So if you're interested in this, they are both the same. One's just a newer,
Yeah, one's just newer.
But it's by Orbit. And where'd you buy
Beehive. Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Home Depot and Lowe's have them.
Yeah, so you can get that, and the Bluetooth and that is huge.
Yes. And you can set more than one program, so if you need them to run twice a day, it'll run twice a day.
Okay, so that's perfect. All right, we're gonna swing back up here, but don't you, like, look at that. Like, I am so impressed. So can I tell the story about your door?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is hilarious. So when Jamie and Maria first came to us, so Maria's really good. She always brings pictures when she comes to the nursery. And so she was showing me a picture of the back of her house, and she was like, now you see that door, because the deck, none of the deck was there at all, because originally there was a deck.
There was a deck, and we had torn it down for them to put the concrete in for the driveway. The pool was here.
Okay.
To put the concrete in for the driveway, and then we rarely pay anybody to do anything, whether that's a positive or a negative.
Yep.
I think Jerry might be somewhat of the same.
Yep.
So Jamie built the deck primarily on his own.
But the funny story is Maria's like, there's a door there. There was no deck because they were in between, and so they had ripped it down. And so on the inside of the house, you were like, we had to put a chair. We had to put stuff in front of it, because if we have guests over, open the door, I mean, you would fall a whole woof straight down. So I just thought, to me, that's just funny. Like, that's real life, right? You do a project as it comes along, but man, it came
And it
out.
always takes longer than you think. And we didn't want to just put stairs there. That's primarily how because the driveway's on the back side of the house, that's primarily how we go in and out of the house.
Sure.
So even for ourselves, so in the middle of the night, you didn't just open the door and go, here, dog, go outside.
And then boom, there they go, and you go too. All right, so this is the purple plum?
Yes.
Purple plum.
Leaning slightly. I've debated over whether or not it's worth trying to straighten it or just leave it be.
Leave it be.
It's got a little lean to it due to the wind, the way the wind comes through here. And
yeah,
it's
gorgeous.
It's well rooted, it's happy. This is where I saw some damage. This is my other gardenias. One died, and that's the one with the tag where I replaced it, and then forgot to tell Jamie to water it when I went out of town for work. But the other two are flushing back out.
Yes.
So I have left them alone.
Yep.
There's our Herm the worm.
Herm the worm.
And then more tea olives, and we did more of a mixed border here.
Yes. But it ties in to give you perspective. So the tea olives here, and then when we first started the video, kind of, those are those tea olives, those more mature tea olives that go. So then this whole fence line will have that repetitive same theme, even though, of course, you've got different plants and it's different, but you still have that same theme. And then the pots. I
couldn't bear to dig up the bubble gum that came back. So this bubble gum is amongst my indigos.
I love it. Hey,
I just couldn't bear. If
she's a
it's strong enough, it's coming back.
It is coming back.
These are and I never can remember.
That's okay.
They're the Starburst.
Starburst Encore azaleas.
Yes.
So pretty.
And we have, these are what is it? Strawberries and cream, is that right?
Strawberry Sundae?
Strawberry Sundae, maybe?
There is a Strawberry Sundae.
Yes, something like
that. Do they turn?
They do turn.
Okay.
But these were originally on the side of the house where the big Empress Woo is.
Oh.
And they wouldn't bloom.
Well, yeah.
Because then I learned, I'm like, oh, they need more sun.
But look at those. I mean.
So they love it here.
They do love it here.
Palm trees.
Yes, because South Carolina is known for it's the palmetto state.
It's the palmetto state.
There you go. So
those are windmill palms. That one I just actually trimmed last night. It had some, I think the cold got it worse than that one that is much more
beautiful. Look
full
at your mini-me watermelon.
I told you last time I was up there, it's a case of how big can we grow the mini-me.
Yes.
That is one mini-me.
It's called Challenge Accepted. It's a mini coleus. Challenge accepted by Maria to say, nope, it will not be mini here in Winsboro. We grow things big here.
Yes. It loves it here. Irrigation as well. I think that's the key to a lot of things.
It is. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we're going to pop on over here because we're almost done.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. More Mini Vista Whites.
More Mini Vista Whites. I've grown to love the Mini Vista White.
Yes, I have too. And then your evergreens in the back.
Yes, and those are Forever Goldies and then North Poles.
Okay.
And this is...
Love that. So I love the color contrast here. And these are new. I mean,
these are brand new. Yeah, they just went in. They maybe went in month and a half ago.
Yep. So that'll give, again, you're going to have that mixed border, and you're going to have a screen, but not a solid.
Right.
I don't like and you love your neighbor,
yes,
right? And so, but you still, I mean, it is still your pool, like that's right here.
The point of a lot of this is to have some privacy in the summer.
Sure.
We had grasses over here that perennial grasses that didn't survive the winter, the cold snap. So I pulled them out and said, let's go with something else.
Gotcha.
And did that, and we're kind of going that route. You see the bumbles all over the.
Is this another vanilla spice?
No, this is the.
I say something different.
That is Scentlandia because it's spreading.
Yes.
And
so we have found, and so Maria is with me on this, with the Scentlandia. It is a native plant, and it's great, but if it's happy where it is, it will send out runners. So,
because that's not where I planted it.
Yeah,
it's over
so
there.
just you have to kind of beware. And if you're fine with that, and in certain areas it's wonderful that you can let it naturalize, but in other areas maybe not so much.
It might stay here, but we also have it right on the corner between the two roses, and it's being a little thuggish over there.
It's being a little thuggish, but
so we may replace it.
I'm impressed that it's blooming.
I know.
Like, and clearly you can see big pollinator attractor. And then we transition back into kind of Jamie's area.
I know everybody loves a magnolia tree, but they're a mess. They're one of the few trees that like drops leaves like consistent.
Yes.
Especially when it's blooming. It's kind of the oddness of a magnolia.
Yeah, so if you like a neat area that doesn't drop leaves, don't do a magnolia.
Don't do a magnolia.
But
this was here.
You cannot get just about, maybe other than the palmetto or a camellia, I mean, you cannot get any more southern iconic than a magnolia.
There's another Empress Woo in the back. That one's probably been here longer. Maybe that's 3 to 4 years. I would also, if you have red clay, don't do this without an auger, because the roots alone will near about take you down, but to try to plant under a magnolia tree, but
because of the roots.
But I just wanted something simple under here. Our neighbors the new neighbors are going to take down, that is basically a dead large shrub with ivy on it. So this may end up with too much sun, we'll see. I'll just move them.
Yeah.
I'll find somewhere else to plant and plant something to take it. Some of this can take the sun.
Sure.
But the Florida sunshine probably will not appreciate that much sun.
Yeah.
It's one of the bigger ones we've got.
It is one of the bigger ones. Do you remember what this one is, this hosta?
I believe this one is a guacamole.
I say, is it a guacamole?
I think it's guacamole.
Can we just talk about how which I did not realize that some people don't like hosta blooms. I love hosta blooms.
I didn't realize that all of them put out a bloom. Like,
look at that.
And we've obviously had something. I left this for everybody. So like, don't be scared. It's just something gnawing on my hostas. And that the other thing is Finley likes to run through here. One of the dogs loves to run through here, and he'll tear them up. I'll trim them off.
They run through here, and their paws will slice. Even if they just cut this, even if it wasn't something that ate it, if the dogs run through it and their paw goes through it, it's broken. So then that's just the plant trying to heal itself. But oh my goodness, it is just beautiful.
And, and we've just recently expanded beyond the fence.
Yes, because that's where your vegetable garden is.
That's where my vegetable garden is, and I noticed, I was like, hey, wait a minute, my vegetable garden needs pollinator plants
of course.
too.
You want to go back over there?
Sure.
All right, let's go over there. All right, so here we are in the back. Yes. Oh my goodness. So vegetable garden, sweet little greenhouse, which is
storage now,
but you start seeds.
I start seeds, yes.
Yes.
I primarily start them in the house and then move them out to the greenhouse. Blueberry bushes.
Yes.
These are the Southern Living.
Yep.
Blueberry bushes.
Yep.
Here's the bleeding hearts. In the full sun.
Full, like no break.
No break.
Look at that, y'all.
And they are surviving.
I wouldn't even say they're surviving. They're
And these are my dahlias I bought last year from you guys that came back. The little ones that came back.
Yeah.
And then the
salvia back there in the back.
Salvia back there in the back.
Cat's pajamas.
Cat's pajamas.
Love it.
A Carolina sweet
sapphire.
Sapphire.
Yep.
That needs to desperately be planted, but it's just living life on the front of the.
There you go.
The decking here.
No.
We decided to put the greenhouse on a elevated deck because the ground is so hard out here, which
Okay.
to get it to actually anchor it, we felt like we could anchor it a little better.
So where did you get, because people are going to ask, where did you get your greenhouse? Do you remember?
Jamie ordered it. I got it for Christmas. I called it Snuffleupagus for a long time because it didn't get put up for 2 or 3 years. It was a Christmas present. But you can see I save my pots and then I use them
You
when I
reuse
start
them.
seeds.
Yeah.
And right now it's mainly storage. My potato harvest is in there. And then,
Oh my gosh, look at your peppers.
yes, these are the Proven Winners Fire and Ice. Fire and
Hot and heavy.
Hot and Heavy.
Hot and heavy?
That's these.
Oh my gosh.
And then Jamie likes hot peppers,
Yes.
so this is the hot
Jalapenos.
pepper side.
Look at these guys.
And I just bought a bunch of seeds and said I'm gonna try stuff. So this
Even
year,
if you don't eat them, how cute are they?
I need to harvest.
Look at that.
And then we have onions. These are what would be if they were grown in Vidalia, Georgia,
They would be,
Vidalia
right,
onions.
yeah.
But this is our either needs to go in the ground
Yep.
or is being rehabbed section.
Yes, so every gardener has a section like this in their yard, right? So it's kind of the holding zone area, and then all of your water troughs.
It died back. Jamie said, I don't believe Jenny, it will not come back, and there it is.
There we go.
There we
So
go.
they bought this to still be from the nursery, and they are an hour and a half away from us, and so we think it just got wind blown.
I think it got wind blown, or it was in the bed of the truck when it shouldn't have been. It should
Sure.
have been inside. And I asked, I was like,
Yeah.
will it come back? And you were like, yeah, it'll come back. And I waited. I put it in deep, deep shade, watered it, and waited. And these two popped up, and then I trimmed everything else off of it.
Gotcha.
I just waited because I was like, I don't know where it's going to come from.
Sure.
And now here it is.
There we
Popping out more
go.
growth.
There we go.
And it's just living in the shade back here with shade stuff.
I love it. And then your water troughs you've done into raised beds because you've had back surgery.
Yes, I had to have a spinal fusion, so I don't really, getting up and down sometimes is hard on me. And
Sure.
so I invested in this. They were, originally it was 4 and it's grown.
No, but it's fantastic. And again, filled it all the way with soil.
Filled it all the way with soil and asked Jerry, I was like, what can I put on the bottom? He goes, you don't have to put the super good stuff all the way at the bottom. They
Sure.
won't get that low.
Right.
But just get you some decent soil and put it in there. I will say like the heat is taking a little bit of a toll, but they are pumping. I will also say it is thanks to Jenny that my tomatoes do not have blossom end rot this year. Putting in the Land and Sea
Land and
has
Sea
helped.
has
I
made it.
just tomato toned, did a mid-season.
So we have some Brussels sprouts. So
Yes,
Brussels
and
sprouts,
I am using them now for the aphids love them.
right. It's like
So
a
I'm
host
just left
plant.
them, yeah,
Right.
and let them attack those.
Right, because you've got your Brussels sprouts and your cabbage are cool weather plants, so it is just like way too hot.
Yes.
But like you said, you're leading them so the aphids go to that and not anything else. And
These
you've
are
got,
sunflowers that this is the first year I've ever tried a sunflower.
I love it.
So I just put a few seeds in.
Yes.
We have beans.
Purple
I need
beans
purple
and green beans.
I have all kinds of beans. Carrots.
Carrots.
And I didn't realize they were going to be so prolific, but
They're
I need
beautiful. Look at that. Look at that.
And
Oh
so
my
they're a
gosh.
complete carrot bed, and I haven't cut back my asparagus yet where it's not quite where I can harvest off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to cut it back, but I kind of let it go and seed and see what it's going to do.
I
More
love
beans,
this.
blackberries that I didn't realize were going to get that big.
Oh my goodness. Look at all that fruit. Those are huge.
And they're kind of tall for me, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, might have to get a little step ladder out
That's
here.
right, we have to get a step ladder. Put the bubbler over here mainly for the bees, so if they wanted some water, they tend to like to. It's a Viotex
I was
tree
gonna
form.
say, yeah, you got a little bloom on it.
Yeah, it's blooming again,
I love it.
and more.
So this is a fun way to deal with your climbers.
Yes,
That cattle panel. Cattle.
it's just a cattle panel.
Yep.
Bent over.
Bent over. There you go.
Tried it this year. Figured we'd give it a try.
Yep. Screwed in. There we
Yes. And okra. And you have to plant a lot of okra to get enough okra
You
to do
do.
anything with.
You
So
do.
we have a lot of okra, and obviously some of it. It rained last night. Grew big.
go. I tell you, it grows before your eyes, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And you can only let it get so big.
Oh. So those of you who are not Southerners, you're probably not familiar with okra. It is a Southern garden staple. It is. Do you fry it? How do you do it?
I am a lover of fried okra.
Yes.
I don't
Roasted.
care for the slimy.
No.
I haven't tried roasted.
You need to try roasted. It's easier and it's faster, but it gives you the same taste,
Yes.
shall we say?
I will say this is what's in the top of all the beds. I've just topped this one up, and as I pull and put new things in,
Yep.
so it is the black gold is what I have put on the top.
There you go.
This is my climbing roses that look very rough right now. So
It's all right.
but I think that it's just the heat.
It is the heat.
I had, and hopefully I included a picture of what it looked like when
Yes.
my spun silk was blooming. I just cut them back and just cut my bee balm back.
Your Monarda.
Because, and it is, I found the tag.
Lavender.
It
Taffeta?
is leading
Lady.
Plum.
Oh, plum. Well, look at that.
leading lady plum.
And see, and then again, here going into the garden, you give that balance of using those same containers, planted the same right there. Oh, and there's your Temple of Bloom.
There's my Temple of Bloom, looking a little rough, but
First year.
first year. Just went in about the same time you put yours in.
Yeah.
Because this bed, this primarily is to draw the pollinators to the back of the vegetable garden.
Yep. So you've got the salvias and the monardas and the lantana, and these are blueberries.
These are
down
blueberries, yes, because Jamie wanted blueberries and we had a bunch of them. So I was like, you know what, we'll put them at the back of the bed. They just got planted the fall is when they were all in pots, and I
Gotcha.
took them and planted them. I have the honeysuckle,
throughout. Yes.
both ends to hopefully
Yes.
cover. And then this salvia is loving life here.
It is.
And
And how old is that?
I put that in the spring,
Okay, this spring.
but I got them from you guys. I think they were in gallon pots. Is what they were bigger.
Okay, they were the bigger ones.
They were the bigger ones, and but the whole point is just to make sure the bees go
to the garden.
to the garden.
And then here at your
This is
the shed.
This is my shed. It's not a she shed. It is literally a garden shed.
It is a garden shed.
It is a garden shed where all my tools are.
with the nephophias and the
Yes.
echinaceas and the hibiscus and oh my gosh.
So it's very cottage-like. There's where my basket boy ended up.
Yes.
And I put mini vistas in it. It does, when the irrigation started to struggle, they're not struggling, they're just hanging on at the moment. But I fixed I fixed it just the other night, so they'll bounce back.
They will.
And I believe most of these are lavender bubbles. I have a
Gotcha.
few that are probably the proven winners.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of just let it be purple over here for a lot of things.
I love it.
I'm glad the poor little hibiscus, that one, I don't know what happened, but it's not grown very big this year, but he kind of got obliterated last year.
Is that the
but
Age of Night?
I believe it's Edge of Night
Yeah.
blooming.
Yeah.
It was one I picked up that didn't have a tag
Gotcha.
at a local garden center here.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Try it.
we'll see.
Awesome.
See what happens. And then we just did, this was a mistake on my part for roses, so this is my fault. We just took an apple tree down here that was diseased, wouldn't produce anything.
Uh-huh.
But this would be the north side of this building. This is not enough sun. So you can see over here where it gets more sun, the roses look a little better.
Yep.
But they're David Austin's, I'm going to give them a little more time. So you see where they bloom at the top.
The top. Yep.
I may move them
You will.
to a better spot.
I know you.
But I was like, well, you see, even someone who I can grow a hibiscus, but I
Well, no, I mean, we all, and
Struggle with
it's
the
just the
rose.
struggle, you know, that's just what it is. It's just gardening.
And here's where my puffer fish had an umbrella over it for forever. You can see in the grass where the umbrella was. That's the puffer fish from last year I got from Creekside.
Okay.
And then I bought this one this year because
Gotcha.
I moved. I don't know which one's yin, which one's yang.
Sure.
But I moved them. Mm-hmm. That's my popcorn viburnum you suggested.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
To let it go up, and I'll probably trim it up the same way, more tree form or branching up.
Yes.
And then when I did that, I felt like to balance it, I needed another puffer fish in the middle
Yes.
there. So he shocked pretty bad.
But
And
all things
drooped.
considered, I think he looks good.
Yeah, and he bounced back. I just put him under an umbrella and tried to remember don't overwater him.
Yep. And then you've got your chartreuse on the loose, the new Nephida, and a little red head.
Yes,
Right
a
there.
little redhead, and these are I think Jamie took my tags off, but they're just a little blue element. Even though this is blue, just a little bit of that
But
bluish
it's a different,
green.
right?
Yeah.
And it's a different structure, and just imagine when all of that grows in, like you're not going to be able really to see the shed.
And this is my lilac crush.
Yeah.
It's not blooming yet. So I put the more corally.
Yep,
the red, in front of it.
Those red hot pokers with that beautiful crepe myrtle right
I
there.
had 2 North Poles that I decided not to put over there, so they're right here.
Yep, love it.
And this is a it's perfect storm.
Yep. So I think you can tell that is, no, but I mean, like, it's like find what really works in your garden. The panicle hydrangeas, the hibiscus, like, because you're so hot. You're so
I mean,
hot.
you and I are sweating here, and it's
I know,
still the
we're
morning.
dying.
We haven't
like,
even hit noon yet.
We are glistening like you wouldn't believe. And so this is another one of those markers, right?
Yes, that's actually our corner. So that's what they look like. So we
and these are original.
These are original. They were marking the lines of the property.
Are you going to leave this one?
We'll probably leave this one. We'll probably interject it into
visible.
the.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's upright. Some of them were laying down, so we.
Sure.
Some of them were.
Love that.
Some of them were in the way when we put the pool in, so we've moved them, and we just have them piled up.
That is, I think this is the coolest thing ever.
And this is where our property ends.
Okay.
And goes back.
Yes.
But we've talk about moving plants. This is the banana shrub magnolia, the ruby.
Man, Ruby Stellar.
She used to be
Stellar
over
Ruby.
there. Yes, and I moved her over here, and
She is happy.
Never shocked. I was like,
that is one happy.
pufferfish that came out of a pot shocked, but this I dug out of the ground and
Ripped its
moved it over
roots.
here. But I watered it before the root ball, before I put it in the ground,
Smart.
and I did it on a cloudy day.
Yep. There you go.
I planted the pufferfish in the rain, and it's still shocked. So don't be discouraged.
Oh my gosh, that's a happy plant right there.
She may not bloom too much, but that's okay. Or may have already bloomed. I don't know.
Yeah, mine. I think mine's already bloomed because
Yeah.
it's not blooming now. So then this is where we go
where-
back.
This is the ugly that everybody has.
This is the garden to be.
The garden to be. My dream right now is
Yes.
to make a secret garden back here. And most likely what I'll do is I'll take the arborvitae
Yeah.
out of the pot that are going to need to come out of those
Sure,
pots soon.
sure.
And my thought is to make a hedge across and a way to go in so you can't even see it. And then either a fountain or an urn, probably unique stone, big in the
Yes.
middle, and plant. We are going to help our neighbor with cleaning up the line. We were putting a fence in, and she asked if we'd help her, so of course we're going to do that. Clean up the line, and then I'll see how much light we really have. We won't take down the big trees,
Yes, no.
but just clean up both sides. Jamie wants to put a chicken coop over here.
Yes.
And so put a chicken coop in. I don't need a big secret garden, just something to walk behind that you can't see.
So
That's
this
mine.
is like, I need to share the pictures and the video with you. So when we went to Mackinac, they had on the property of the Grand Hotel, they had just like recently installed a secret garden. It's exactly what you're talking about, where they had the evergreen trees and it had a little bit of a winding, like there was no sign, there was literally nothing. And when you
Nothing.
got in there, it was very much like this, where it was completely surrounded and it just opened up. And it was gorgeous.
And that's what I was like, you put a hedge and just have them cross, you wouldn't even know from afar until you get right up on it and you go in, probably make it where the gator could still go in there.
I love that idea.
And then this is kind of right now, we're probably, when we build the chicken coop, we'll put some sort of lean-to for the tractor and for all the stuff.
Right, because if you have equipment, you've got to have somewhere to keep it up out of the elements and
Because
help.
the garage has stuff in it.
Yes.
Garages, it doesn't, can't park the tractor in the garage. So,
No.
but it's been useful here with the red clay and the hard pan that is here. That when they
Yes.
dug the pool, it got spread out.
Gotcha.
So we have ruined a few augers, and that's okay. Just they get dull or they
It's
rip
worth
apart.
Yes.
But it's the ground, it's not the auger. Wouldn't have been able to get the fence in without it. But this is it. And we've done things like originally I planted the abelias here just to save them.
Yep.
And they ended up growing. I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice.
There you go.
Just you do things. If you like it, great. If you don't, move it.
I love it. Well, Maria, thank you so much
Well,
for letting us
thank you.
come.
Thank you for coming.
And I was trying to tell them, I was like, y'all, there is no pressure. Like, don't put, I know that's a silly thing to say when you're going to come and somebody's going to look at your garden and like film it. But I was like, truly, like, we want to see real life gardens from real life people who are very, very busy, work 2 full-time jobs,
Yes.
who travel with work and in a very challenging climate because, I mean,
It's hot.
It is hot. It is hot here.
Hot.
And dealing with full sun to deep shade, mature trees. You're having trees that are dying because of age and they're having to come out. So you go from full shade, now you're going to full sun. So just the challenges of gardening.
Challenges.
So thank you so much again.
Well, thank you for coming. And I would say too, like, we do use a black mulch. We're transitioning, like, these are pine bark vines with compost.
Yep.
And that's mainly when we do a new bed. I like to do that anyways because of the red clay.
Of the red clay,
Yes.
yeah. But everything is just beautiful and spectacular. So thank you again.
Well, thank you for coming.
Absolutely. All right, my friends, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Go out there and have fun. Just get out there, get sweaty. Don't be afraid to move a plant.
That's right. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. And y'all have fun. As always, thanks so much for growing with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.
Bye.